Welcome back to another edition of Music Monday from the podcast Nurture the Mind. I am your host, Poots, and we have yet again another music reaction. And I am really excited for this one because I have no idea what is in store. We are listening to an artist known as, I don't even know how to pronounce this name, so I apologize if I get it wrong. Bilmuri? Sounds like Bill Murray, like the actor. Bilmuri? I don't know. Whoever this artist is, and the song is called Always Let You Down, featuring one of my favorite bands of all time, and that is why I chose to listen to this song, A Day to Remember. I love A Day to Remember. How could you hate on A Day to Remember? They're, in my opinion, one of the best bands to ever exist. I figured out who they were back in 2010, 2011. That's when I started hearing their music, listening to their music. And at some point during that summer, so I was going from 8th grade into freshman year of high school. That summer, when I really started to digest their music, that's where I became utterly fucking hooked by A Day to Remember. I mean, in my opinion, they've never put out bad music. I mean, yes, some of the albums that, they've put out in later years, they're definitely not my favorite ones compared to the older stuff that they put out, but they still have their time and their place in the band's discography, and they still continue to put out great music. And every once in a while, they do a feature, they work with another artist, they've done that before in the past. Sometimes it's just Jeremy McKinnon, it's not the rest of the band. So I have no idea what this is going to be like and what's going to be in store, because like I said, I don't know who Bill Murray is and what this artist's music sounds like. So without further ado, we're just going to get into it. We're also going to watch and react to the official music video, but I think it's probably going to be good, right? Because I love A Day to Remember, and they don't put out bad music. They always put out quality music. So without further ado, here we go.
Welcome back to the BBL Bill Murray Battle League. We
Bill Murray.
are live in John's backyard for the championship bout. There is a smell here in the air tonight, and I think it is John's butt crack. Coming in from a terrible loss at the Ohio Corn Cob Deep Throating Contest. We got John from Ohio. 5'3",
John.
weighing 110 pounds. No human
Ass
has touched
unwiped.
that crack in years. Anyways, introducing our returning champion, Jeremy from California. 10-time champion, handsome, huge balls, tall as shit. I don't think John has a chance.
Oh, look at that truck. Oh my God. Niall. I saw Alex earlier.
Why do you keep doing this shit, man? I don't know. I just love it.
Dude, this is so good so far. Hey, Kevin Scaff. Oh shit. Going heavy? Let's go. Oh.
Cheers. I can't get it to my mouth. Next Thursday? For sure. And there you have it, an outcome that everybody knew was going to happen. Jeremy reigns supreme and handsome as always, and little piss boy John pissed himself extra hard tonight in front of a wonderful crowd. How do you think it went tonight, Gabby?
Pretty much how I expected, I would say. I saw some blood.
Anything from you, Will? We'll just get so damn emotional at these things. So join us next week in Jimmy's backyard for BBL. And check out Cryptid Hunters, link below.
Wait, what is that?
Don't worry about it.
Man, that was so good. The first initial thoughts, and this is something that A Day to Remember really excels at, and they have for their entire career, is they always put out catchy music. And I feel like that song was super catchy. Jeremy's part, various parts, but also Bilmuri. His parts were really good too. They were really catchy. I'm gonna have to look up the lyrics on Genius. Something about always letting you down. Is that in the context of a relationship? It didn't seem like the lyrics were super deep, maybe a little bit more right in front of your face, right underneath your nose, like easy to get, easy to absorb, but I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna make sure that I am trying to understand this as best as possible. But that was a really good blend. That was a really good blend between those two worlds, those two artists, A Day to Remember and Bilmuri. If there's anybody out there that's watching this reaction and is a fan of Bilmuri and knows a lot more about him, please let me know, like, what is his sound? What is he known for? What is his genre? I mean, what's really cool about A Day to Remember is I feel like they respect a lot of different types of music. Jeremy McKinnon has worked with Hardy, which is a country artist, and they did that song called The Radio Song or whatever. And that song is super interesting because it goes between country and rock and like a heavier sound. And so, like I say all the time on the channel, if you are a real musician, if you are a real artist, if you are a real creative, even though you're going to have your genre, you're going to have your particular sound that you stick to a lot of the time, it's like a lot of these musicians, if they're a good musician, they're not going to box themselves into one sound or one genre. They're really going to test the waters and try a bunch of different things. I mean, I just think it would be super boring as a musician and to call yourself a creative if you're always trying to do the same thing, if you're always trying to create the same thing. It can't be fulfilling. So it's like, you got to try different things. You got to get out of your comfort zone. But no, these are the sounds that maybe are always reoccurring themes throughout their music and present themselves all the time. So anyways, let's do a little bit more of a deeper dive. So Bilmuri. Let's see if they describe this man. Bilmuri, pronounced exactly like the actor Bill Murray, wasn't sure about that, is the latest musical outlet of Johnny Frank, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, formerly of Attack Attack. Oh shit, I didn't realize. Since 2016, the post-hardcore band has released 12 albums. Oh, is this a band? Or is it just one dude? Okay, well that gives me a little bit of context. Let's see, is it from this new album, Kinda Hard? Because that's 2026. Yep, it is from this album. Did this like just release or something? Oh, it's gonna come out April 10th of 2026. Okay, yeah, there's not a ton of lyrics. I mean, it's not showing me a lot of description either. So it'll just be my interpretation of the lyrics. All right, so we start with verse 1. It's Jeremy McKinnon. I don't need a reason to drown in the deep end. I told you don't pull me out. I know I'll repeat it. I broke you to pieces. I told you to have your doubts. Yeah, dude, that sounds like a relationship. That sounds like some type of conversation that you're gonna have in a relationship. I told you don't pull me out. I know I'll repeat it. I broke you to pieces. I told you to have your doubts. To drown in the deep end, I don't need a reason. Then we go to the pre-chorus. Johnny, however you pronounce the last name, when will we realize we'll never get back that time? I'm never gonna meet you right in the middle. Again, sounds like he's talking about a relationship. When will we realize we'll never get back that time? In the chorus from Jeremy McKinnon, all those years you waited, I wasted, I don't want to be the bad guy no more. Say it, you hate it. I don't want to be the one you stay for, so tell me you don't want me around, because I'll always let you down. Yeah, I mean, the lyrics are pretty straightforward, right? Like, I don't really have to go into much of a description. Then we go to verse 2 from Johnny, cut ties, it's over, you're closer to closure, and I'll be a stranger now. Then in the pre-chorus with both guys, I know what it takes to break a good soul. I know 100 ways to let go. Can't even count the days that you won't. Why can't you see? Then we go to the chorus from Johnny. All those years you waited, I wasted. I don't want to be the bad guy no more. Say it, you hate it. I don't want to be the one you stay for. Leave what's left of us in the ground, 'cause I ain't worth saving. Tell me you don't want me around, 'cause I'll always let you down. Then there's the bridge with both guys. I know what it takes to break a good soul. I know 100 ways to let go. Can't even count the days that you won't. And then we go to the chorus for both. All those years you waited, I wasted. I don't want to be the bad. Yeah, it's a lot of the repeating things that we continue to hear. And then the breakdown from Jeremy McKinnon. Some things just aren't meant to be. Life too short to waste on me. Ooh, waste on me. Yeah, what else is there to say, man? I mean, the song is super catchy, which you expect nothing less from a Day to Remember Jeremy McKinnon, but I guess also this guy, Johnny. Johnny is his name, and then is the band Bill Murray. So he left Attack Attack, used to be a part of Attack Attack. But yeah, dude, they're talking about the breakdown of a relationship, and who hasn't gone through a bad relationship unless you're pretty young and, maybe you don't have a ton of experience in the dating market, and that's totally okay. But if you are of the appropriate age and you've been in, a handful of relationships, it's like there's relationships that you go through that just teach you a lot. They don't succeed for a reason. Maybe they're teaching you one lesson, or maybe they're teaching you multiple lessons. I don't even know how many relationships I've been in. I mean, I could say that there was 2 really serious relationships that I've been in my almost 29 years of living, and both ended, and it hurt. It dug at me to the core. One was with my high school sweetheart, and we were together in total like 2.5 years. And then I had one that followed after that, sometime after that, not right away after that. And with that specific person, we went pretty much the same amount of time. It was like 2.5 years in total, even though a lot of it was spent going back and forth. Like, we would be together and then we would break up, and then we'd get back together and we'd break up. And man, being in a bad situation, being in a bad relationship can really fuck with your mind. It can really fuck with your confidence. I remember specifically with that second serious relationship that I was in, that's the worst relationship that I've ever been in terms of what it did to me mentally. And I remember that, when I finally had the courage to actually leave and not repeat that pattern of like going back. So, finally a clean break. I remember that, my confidence was not restored right away. There had been a lot of mental damage, mental abuse, emotional abuse, whatever you want to say, psychological abuse. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if it was done on purpose. It could have been just the patterns that she was in from a young age, from her childhood. But yeah, what we went through in that relationship really damaged me, and those wounds really did cut deep. I mean, I don't think about those things as much anymore, although I'm sure some of those things still sit with me. I mean, everybody out there, again, if you have enough relationship experience, there's going to be baggage. But what has to happen with that is you can't let that deter you from getting in future relationships or trying with somebody new. I've had the benefit of being single for the last 4 years. And unlike some people who will go from relationship to relationship to the next relationship to the next fling, although I've dated people, some things were starting to get a little bit serious, but never went into a relationship. For the bulk of these last 4 years, I've had that time to really sit with myself, become more independent, ask myself, what do I really want out of a partnership? What do I really want out of a relationship? And I think there are a lot of people that go the opposite route. They jump from relationship to relationship. And meanwhile, when you do that, I don't feel like you truly find yourself, and I don't think you truly find what you actually want, because you're so obsessed with getting with another person, because you're so afraid to face yourself and you're so afraid to be alone. And I'm sure I've been that way before, where I got out of a relationship and like I wanted to get in one like right away, maybe to distract myself from the pain. But my point being is that like we all have baggage, we all have insecurities, we all have, maybe some traumas too. But if you're going to get yourself back out into the dating market, you have to deal with those things. Otherwise, you're going to put that on the next person that comes in. I could think of, maybe relationships that I was in, girls that I was talking to, girls that I was dating, and they brought in their previous baggage from former relationships and they put it onto the relationship with me. And, ultimately that crushed us from really going anywhere and getting that whole thing off of the ground. And so we have to be very careful with what we do after a relationship, and how we choose to deal with that, and how we choose to sort all of that stuff out. Because if it was a serious relationship and there was, a lot of tough things that went on in that relationship, you can't just discard that, after you guys break up. I mean, sometimes I feel like, if you've been with somebody for a long time and you knew for a long time that it wasn't going to work out, maybe that's a different story. I feel like that's happened for people, and it's like you've kind of already moved on in your head, but you just haven't broken it off just yet. But I feel like for the majority of people, even if they find themselves in that situation, it's like once you go through the breakup, it's like, okay, maybe I knew that it was time to end things, but it still makes it very, very challenging now that it's over. And I have to sit with my emotions and I have to sit with my feelings. And it's like, yeah, okay, maybe I realized that this person was not a good match for me, or like we weren't compatible, or we didn't work well together, but like you still spent a lot of time with them. You still invested in them emotionally. You still probably deep down have some feelings for them. I think I've talked about it before on this channel, but like when we date somebody, when we're with somebody for a long enough time, when you get physical with somebody, when you have those feelings for somebody, you build up, a chemical connection with them. So they basically become a drug to you. And when that's taken away from you in the course of a breakup, it's like your mind is freaking the fuck out, because it's like, hey, where's my drug? Where's my fix? I'm not getting that drug anymore. I'm not getting that fix. And your mind, and maybe your body to some extent, is having a withdrawal because you can't be with that person anymore. You know that you can't be with that person anymore. I've referenced, on this video, in this podcast, in this reaction, about the worst relationship that I was ever in. And I can tell you that last year that we were together was the worst. And I think there were so many times, and I can think of one time in particular, where I admitted to myself, I'm like, dude, this is not going to work out. I can't be with this person. It's not going anywhere. It's not working out well, the way that it's going right now. And so this was before the official breakup, but this was like months. I'm talking months before the official breakup. And she came over to my parents' house one time, because I was living at my parents' house at that time. And I basically told her, I said, and I had told myself, like, I'm going to have to break up with her. And so I committed myself to that. And I was like, hey, things are not working. We have to end this. I'm sorry. Like, I hope we can be friends, but this has to happen. And at least at that point in time, like that specific night when she was at my parents' house, we were up in my room, I was ready to stick to my guns. But this girl was also a coworker of mine when I worked at the YMCA. And so I tried to make that clean break, but she was still around me. We still worked with each other. I mean, not like directly, because she was the front desk and I was upstairs, like in the lifting area where people do weight training, weight resistance, those types of things. But because we were around each other, we were in the same vicinity, it's like I fell back into those old patterns, those old behaviors. And because, again, I was hooked to her, in my mind, it's like she was like my drug. It was like, okay, I know I said that we need to break up, but I still want to be with you. And I can't tell you how many times we did that, man. And you do that enough times and you don't listen to that internal intuition, gut feeling, instinct, like whatever you want to call it. We all have it and it all hits us at different times. And sometimes it's hard to articulate because it's a feeling and it's not something that we can always explain with our logical thinking. What a lot of us will do, and what I've done in the past, and sometimes I still do to this day, is I don't trust the gut. And it's like, dude, you gotta trust the gut. The gut is associated with the brain. The gut is basically like your second brain. And if we put it into a biological evolutionary perspective, it's like that whole thing, that whole system, that whole mechanism evolved because we needed to have that internal command system that just produced that feeling and said, hey, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to move forward. The clearest example that I could give, and I think would resonate with everybody, is, sometimes when you meet somebody and I guess like their behavior, the way they talk, the way that they act, maybe you can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but you're like, when I'm around that person, like something just feels off. That's intuition. That's gut. That is our senses coming alive. And the unfortunate thing is, in the world that we live in right now, is we dumb those senses so much through the scrolling, through technology, through alcohol, through weed, through substances, through porn. Anything that we can do to dumb ourselves down and to numb our senses, it's like us humans are going to do in 2026 because that's the environment that's around us. It's so hard to get away from all of those things, basically the unnatural world, and get tied back into what is actually natural. But that gut instinct, the second brain, if you will, it's so important because it's trying to communicate to you like, hey, this is what you need to do. And I remember back then, like I had that, but sometimes that chemical connection, that drug-like connection that you have to that person is enough to override that side of you that's like, hey, I gotta listen to what my gut is telling me. So anyways, man, those are my thoughts on the lyrics. I did a really deep dive there, even though in their lyrics, I can't say it was super deep, but they were talking about a relationship and how it wasn't working out and how you have to let things go and all the arguments that we have in this relationship. I mean, the title of the track, like, I always let you down. At some point, you admit to yourself, you realize you can do this logically, but it probably also mainly starts with the gut, and intuition. And I would challenge all of us out there that, like, that's what you have to listen to. And it's not just when it comes to relationships and should I be with this person or should I not be with this person, but it also pertains to just where you're at in life. And if you feel like, maybe the job that you currently hold or possess, it's like, okay, maybe at one point in time, I really enjoyed being at this place. This is where I wanted to be at that current moment in my life. But it's like, now it doesn't challenge me. It no longer serves me. It's like, okay, listen to that and move forward accordingly. But those are my takes on the lyrics. It was a great song. It was super catchy. It sounded super good. Now I'm a little bit more intrigued to listen to more Bilmuri now that I know how to actually pronounce that name, whether it's one person or it's a band. It sounds like the guy Johnny left Attack and started, his own thing or like a new band. So yeah, great song right there. I think this is a song that I'm going to go back to quite often. Probably, I'm literally leaving this reaction and I'm going to hit legs and core for my workout today. This could be a song that I would play in the gym, supporting my workouts on repeat. But that's it, guys. That's the reaction. As always, at the end of these videos, I ask you to do 4 things. You don't have to do all 4, but please do one of the 4, especially if you came over here, you enjoyed the content, you thought it was interesting. If I provided that value and it wasn't a waste of your time, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment in the comment section below, and then share the video and the podcast, whether it's on social media or if you do it word of mouth, if you tell somebody in real life. Basically, by doing one of those 4 things, you help me grow my channel in my message, and you push my content out for more people to see. And that's what I need. That's the help that I need. I put in the value of recording and giving my honest take, showing up and always trying to be genuine and authentic. And in return for that, the value that I bring, the entertainment that I bring, you guys help me grow this whole thing. So with that being said, getting that out of the way, guys, I gotta go hit my workout. I never enjoy doing legs, but I know it has to be done because I don't want to look like a skinny bitch. And I definitely don't want to be jacked upstairs and then skinny downstairs. It has to be proportional to the body. All right, guys, take care. Have a good rest of your weekend. Hopefully I will get this out on Monday. Hope you guys have a strong start to your week. I love you guys. See you on the next reaction. Take care. Bye-bye.